Hello, welcome to Infinite Prattle. On today's episode, I'm going to explain to you a little bit about the history and the culture around the big game. Know what that means? If you don't, stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to
Infinite Prattle!
Unscripted, unedited prattle on everything. Hosted by me, Stephen. Listen, like, share and subscribe and enjoy the show.
Hi, welcome back to Infinite Prattle. Bit of a rush recording this sesh today. Sesh? I've never said that in my life. Well, I have, but not referred to the podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about the big game, as I've said in the intro. And the big game, I'm referring to the Super Bowl, as you can tell from my apparel today, wearing a blacked out Philadelphia Eagles winner's Super Bowl hat, and a newly acquired kind of varsity jacket from Primark, of all places, for £55, which is frankly a bargain. And I don't normally buy stuff that you can get in this country. I normally like to shop in the American stores, but you got to take the wins while you can. I think this hat was the price. It was nearly the same price as this jacket, which is incredible. So anyway, the big game is the Super Bowl that I'm talking about. I'm recording this on the day of the Super Bowl, the 8th of February, 2026. And I just wanted to go through kind of like a beginner's guide to the Super Bowl and to American football in some sense as well. I'll explain the basics of American football. Hopefully I don't get anything wrong. So anyone that is listening to this podcast or watching this podcast before the game tonight can kind of watch the game if they want to and have a little bit more of an understanding about what it was and how it's come to be. God, my words today. I'm really struggling with words recently, which is bad when you have a podcast. So just about big background, what it is, how it came to be, and some facts and stuff. And I've actually done research. So the Super Bowl, the big game. It wasn't always called the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl has been its name since the two divisions of the NFL merged. So prior to the Super Bowl, there's always been separation in the American football leagues in America. It'd almost be like having two premierships in the UK. And in I've got to get the date right because I don't get anything wrong because I'll get slated in the comments. So in 1966, National Football League decided to merge the two sides, which was the American Football League and the National Football League, the conference leagues, basically into one NFL thing where there's 32 teams as there are today. So that became what is known as the NFL Championship game, which it is now the Super Bowl. And prior to that, it was just like a championship game for whatever division you're in. And it was really, in the early days of American football as well, they didn't really count how many games you'd kind of won. It wasn't really counting wins and losses and the overall stuff. It was like, they didn't count draws and stuff. It was a really weird system. I'm learning stuff today on the internet. But if you want to go and look at that, I've used Wikipedia and the NFL website and stuff like that. So just go and Google that yourself and have a read if you're interested. But basically, in a nutshell, the Super Bowl's a massive worldwide phenomenon. It's worldwide now. It's worldwide. I've been into it for, I don't know, probably going on for like 17 years or so, I would say. Where is it? Yeah, it probably is about that. Since probably longer than that, actually. It's probably a bit longer than that. Before, probably like 2007-ish, 2006, 2005. I don't know. Probably like nearly 20 years, actually. Scarily enough. And I support the Philadelphia Eagles, if you can't tell. And, the Philadelphia Eagles have been reasonably successful prior to the formation of the National Football League as it is today, which contains the 32 teams, 16 from the AFC, 16 from the NFC, all under the umbrella of the National Football League. And these two divisions, basically, they play each other through the seasons, and then one team from each division will win their conference, and then them two teams fight it out in the Super Bowl. So that's kind of how it works. So it'd almost be like if there was like two Premiership tables in the UK for regular football running at the same time, and them two teams then basically fought it out for the ultimate team of the whole league. That's probably the simplest way I can explain it to people. But Philadelphia Eagles were quite popular prior to the Super Bowl. They won three championships in 48, 49, and then 1960, and then say the Super Bowl kind of was created in 66. I don't think it was officially, from what I've seen on the internet, it wasn't officially called the Super Bowl till the Super Bowl number 3, when it was referred to as the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's and the Eagles have won 2 Super Bowls, which I'm immensely proud of. Since I've been supporting them, I mean, I'm quite lucky that in the 20 years or 19 years I've been supporting them, probably, I've seen them win 2 Super Bowls. But it was a long time coming, even for me, not being a supporter since birth. It was a long time coming, and I'm not gonna lie, it was emotional, and I cried. So the first one was in 2017, and the second one is in 2024. But they play the Super Bowl the following year, so the season starts. So when they won it in 2017, they actually played the Super Bowl in 2018, the February in 2018. And the Super Bowl always takes place on the first Sunday of February every year. And the week before, they have a Pro Bowl. So the Pro Bowl is like the best players of the league basically go and have a bit of a fun game. It's not as hard contact. And it's basically the teams that aren't really in the Super Bowl go and have that Pro Bowl game. And it's normally done for charity and stuff like that. It's pretty good, though. It's still good to watch because it's a little bit more laid back. Nothing riding on it. And they pick 2 team names, and yeah, it's all good fun. It's quite cool to watch all the superstars from all the different teams actually play together. Kind of as a, what do you call it, like a fantasy football league almost. So like, what is the Super Bowl? Well, I've kind of told you. It's basically the conference championship. It's the head-to-head between the AFC and the NFC, and the winners of that become world champions. It's a bit convoluted because it's a sport kind of only in America. It's only American teams. But that's what they call it. Same with the World Series in baseball. You're the world champions. So they win the Lombardi Trophy. And the Lombardi Trophy was created for the Super Bowl. But after the first couple of wins, basically, Green Bay won the first ever Super Bowl. And they won the second ever Super Bowl under the NFL Championship. And then the Vince Lombardi Trophy was created to celebrate Vince Lombardi, who was the coach of Green Bay. And led them to them 2 victories. So that's what stuck. And the Lombardi Trophy is quite impressive. It's quite a large thing with a football on the top. And as I say, the Eagles have 2 of them. So go Birds. And it's just a massive thing, the Super Bowl now. I think it's inherent in culture throughout the world, even if you're not American and you've never seen American football. You have heard of the Super Bowl. You've probably heard of the Super Bowl adverts, which I think is how I first came into it, watching film trailers. You'd see the Super Bowl film trailer, and you'd be like, I was like, kind of, what's the Super Bowl? And I just thought it was like this weird name that film companies put on it to make it out that it was a special trailer. But it wasn't. It was because of the Super Bowl. And they play these exclusive trailers and adverts and stuff during the Super Bowl advert breaks. Because if you've never watched American football, a lot of advert breaks. Yes, that's how I came into American football. And I'll do a separate episode about my career as a linebacker, the shortest linebacker ever. I played American football for a very short time, and it was really enjoyable, and I just wish I'd have got into it a lot younger, because it would have increased my fitness loads, and I really enjoyed my very short stint at it, and I'm just a bit disappointed that it was never really a thing in schools. I think if I would have been a student in America, I most definitely would have been on top of trying to do everything football that I could. And the rules of American football. So I'll cover a little bit of the rules, because if you're going to watch it after this video and listen to this podcast, you're going to want to know the rules. So basically, it's not really like rugby, but it is. So in rugby, you've got to score a try, and you get an extra point after the try. And pretty much American football is the same, apart from the flow of it's slightly different. So it's a lot of tactics and a lot of positions and knowing your plays. So basically, the fundamental is, as the offense, when you're on the field trying to score, there's an offense and there's a defense. So the defense are trying to stop you scoring, and the offense are trying to score a touchdown, which is a try in rugby. So the whole premise of it is we have downs in American football. Excuse me. Let me get my pissy tea that I made. I made this cup of tea, and I think it's the worst cup of tea I've ever made. I didn't boil the kettle properly because my wife had just made one. And, oh Christ. And, excuse your ears, I'm sorry. And it's weak as hell, probably because I didn't use fully boiling water. Yeah, terrible. I feel like I shouldn't call myself British anymore after making such an abhorrent cup of tea. Anyway, so the idea is obviously to get all the way down the field, from one end zone to the other, and your end zone is where you score the touchdowns. So if I was on the offense for one team and you were the defense for the other team, you'd be trying to stop me score, which is basically fair enough. Same in most sports. So there's such a thing as a down, and there's 4 downs in each round. So the offense would play their first down, and they have to try and at least get 10 yards in that down. So if they get 10 yards in that down, they get a fresh set of downs. They get another 4 tries. So all it is I've got to get at least 10 yards, and I've got 4 tries to do that. 4 goes at it, basically. So you have your first go, and say you manage to move the ball 2 yards. So your second go is 2nd and 8, because you managed to get 2. If you in the third down, if you get another 2 yards, it'd be 3rd and 6, and so on until you actually score the full 10 yards and get a fresh set of downs. Or you don't score the fresh set of downs, and you get to the 4th down, which is if you've only got 1 yard to go, you might risk it and try and get that extra yard, or you might just kick it away for the safety. Basically, you want to play safe and you just kick it away to the other team, and that's basically the premise. So you get 4 downs, and you're trying to score at least 10 yards with them 4 downs, and if you don't, you probably just kick it away, depending on how close you are. Philadelphia Eagles, they've got such a thing called the tush push, or the brotherly shove, and we've been really effective with that the last few seasons. Basically, when we've got a yard to go, we just basically use brute force and ignorance to get that ball 1 yard. And it's caused a bit of problems in the division, actually, because a lot of people don't like us using it. I love it. You know what? Adapt or die, I say. Some teams are getting a lot better at defending that now, and some teams are trying to use it. So some people say it isn't fair, it's taking football away from what it should be, which is trying to pass the ball or run the ball. Adapt. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not going to have a rant about the rules of American football and how the Philadelphia Eagles use it, and how I am on the side of Philly, obviously. I think I'm pretty fair in my judgments, though. Like, when I'm watching a game, if it's the bad call or whatever, and it goes for the Philly Eagles or up against them, I think I'm pretty fair. It's give and take in sport a lot of the time. Like, you sometimes have luck on your side, and sometimes you don't. I think last season, there was a few dodgy calls, maybe because we were the Super Bowl champions, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the premise of football. There's loads of other rules, but yeah, give it a go, have a watch. You've got to get 10 yards in 4 goes, and that's pretty much the premise. So if you do watch it tonight, you'll kind of know what they're about when they say first down, 2nd and 3, 3rd and 5th, and all that sort of stuff. All it means is they're on the 2nd go to get that many yards. So 2nd and 2 means they're on the 2nd go and they've got 2 yards left to get. Does that make sense? I'm hoping I'm explaining that okay. It makes sense in my brain, which doesn't mean a lot, really. I'm just looking at my notes because I really want to make sure I'm getting everything out there. I've said that. Oh my god, making notes is hard. Maybe I should have put them up in some sort of whiteboard. I do have a whiteboard, actually. I could have written them out on a whiteboard, some facts. Anyway, you know, kind of like where the Super Bowl's birth was, briefly. Go and have a look on Wikipedia, where I've got most of the data from. And now you know pretty much some basic rules of the Super Bowl, and the fact it is a massive phenomenon. Now, I talked about adverts a little bit earlier, and adverts are a massive thing in the Super Bowl. And that's where I first kind of like knew about the Super Bowl, knew about American football when I was a kid. That's how I got into Philly. I got a little keyring off my brother when I was a kid, and it was the Philly Eagles. And I was just like, when I got into American football, I was like, well, I'm going to support them. Didn't check to see if they're any good. Was no glory supporter here. and I've stuck with them ever since, and I love them. I've been to see them in America, travelled there in 2015. I think it was 2015? Yeah, 2015. I think it was, travelled there, and it was just the best time. Had a whale of a time, watched them live. It was a dream. It was really surreal, actually, and I was in the stadium. Again, I cried. I was in the stadium, and I think it hit me that I was there watching the game live. And I cried. I couldn't keep it in. It was really crazy. But yeah, adverts cost a lot of money on the Super Bowl. According to an internet search, 1 second, I think it was last year, cost $266,000 per second, which is crazy money. And if you wanted to run a 30-second advert, it could cost about in the region of $10 million. So lucrative, considering, again, if you've ever watched an American football game, how many bloody adverts there are. So these companies put in so much time and effort into these adverts, millions and millions and millions of pounds. They get Hollywood stars, they do skits, they will run a series of adverts throughout the game that link into each other with stories, etc. They release exclusive trailers during the Super Bowl, which are cut specifically for the Super Bowl. And some of these trailers are sometimes like a minute and a half long. So you're talking like that's $30 million to put that trailer on. But the reason it's so expensive is because it's watched, as I said, worldwide. It's a phenomenon. People have watch parties. They go to people's houses. They go to public spaces like pubs, restaurants, and they watch the Super Bowl. And obviously they go to the game. But we'll get back to that maybe if I remember. And I'm having a Super Bowl party tonight. Say I'm recording this on the day of the Super Bowl, and I'm having my own little mini Super Bowl party tonight. Got a couple of friends coming around, and I'm making some food, and that's a big thing of it as well. Food advertising during the game is mad anyway, but that's a big part of it is the food involved. So I'm making buffalo wings and nachos and fajitas, and my mate's bringing some desserts around, so we're going to have a pretty good time, really. And watch the game, have a laugh, maybe have a couple of beers, and just have a jolly good time. And food's massively important. Like, some of the buffets I've seen people put on is insane. But yeah, I get how it's become such a thing. You know, it's almost like a holiday now. I've taken, it's Sunday today. I say that the Super Bowl's always on the first Sunday of February. And I just I just love the whole build up to it. Even if my team's not in it, I'll still stay up and watch it. And mainly, not just for the adverts, which I like to stream the American broadcast of it, but for the bands and stuff. It's become synonymous with halftime show. And the halftime show didn't used to be how it is today in the early days of the Super Bowl. Just looking on, again, Wikipedia, a lot of the early shows seem to be marching bands, which are amazing anyway. If you ever get a chance to go and Google some marching bands or like go on YouTube, like some of their formations and stuff are amazing. So a lot of the early ones seem to be all marching bands. And then a couple of from Super Bowl VI, there was a salute to Louis Armstrong in 1972. And then they started getting a few more people involved that were famous, but they were still kind of doing drill teams and bands. And I think probably from just scrolling through on Wikipedia, I think what probably changed it was 1993. Michael Jackson performed at the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, and I think he came in. I can't remember if he came in with a jetpack or exited with a jetpack, but he kind of blew the doors off. And from that point on, there were a couple of celebration-y things as well. They've all had kind of themes, but pretty much from that point on, there's been like pop stars, rock stars, and stuff involved in the entertainment at the halftime show. And is it a halftime show? I mean, it's pretty impressive that the production value, because obviously these guys have just been playing American football, and then they changed the whole field into this stage and lighting rigs, and everything that goes with that, dancers, and then there's basically a mini concert, and then they clear it all away, and the football starts again. It's incredible to watch. I mean, if you just stay up and watch it for the halftime show, like do, I can't remember who's on it this year. Bad Bunny is doing it, and there's a rumour that Green Day may make an appearance as well. But just some of the names over the years. So you got Michael Jackson, Gloria Estefan, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, Boyz II Men, the Blues Brothers, ZZ Top. Some of these were together as a collective. And weirdly enough, Disney have produced quite a few of them when they've done it, especially in the early days. But say one of them for Super Bowl 34, it was produced by Disney, and the theme was Tapestry of Nations. And say some of the names involved in that was Christina Aguilera, Toni Braxton, Enrique Iglesias, Phil Collins, and an 80-person choir. So you've had Aerosmith, NSYNC, U2, Shania Twain, No Doubt, and then obviously a very notorious one in 2004 with the Justin Timberlake Janet Jackson incident where there was a wardrobe malfunction, let's just say. Yeah, but so many, and if you do get to see any of them as well, if you go onto YouTube, I think a lot of them are available on YouTube on the official NFL website, on the NFL channel. Purple Rain by Prince, 2007, I think it was from the Miami Dolphins Stadium. Yes, it was, Miami Dolphins, and wow, just wow. So it was just insane. The production value in that, and the fact that he sang Purple Rain and it started to rain and he was singing it, and the man was an absolute legend. And I'll go back to, obviously, the reason they do all this is to gain more views and the advertisement views as well. Because 127 million people watch this on average. 127 million people. And it's only going to increase because they're doing international games now, the NFL. Love it or hate it. Might do a podcast on that because I know my American friends don't particularly like it. It's great for me if I want to see American football, although the Eagles have only come across once. It was in their Super Bowl, the year after the Super Bowl winning year, technically, even though it was the year they won it. It's very confusing. They were in London 2018. It was a good year that year because the Eagles won the Super Bowl in February. I had some other stuff going on in my life, which was very good. We bought a house. We were doing a house open. It was finished that year. We went to London to see the Eagles. It was on Sarah's birthday as well, which is very nice of her to accommodate me. And we got married, so it was a good year, 2018. Yeah, it's just crazy, how big an event it is. I can't describe it to you. It's everywhere. It's only going to get bigger, I say, with this international stuff. So I think you either have to shut yourself in a cupboard for a couple of days or embrace it. And I say embrace it. It is a global thing. Even though it's not a global thing. Again, it's very confusing. They're not the world champions, really, are they? They're the champions of American football. And that's coming from someone that's a fan of American football. And I just call it football, weirdly enough. Well, not weirdly. I just call it football. For me, football is American football. Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I'm mixing my words up just because I'm excited talking about it. And I think that some people would probably watch it and not get it. But I think if you support a team and you watch the game, and the games can be hard when you first start getting into it. The games can be hard to get through. Watching something for 3.5 hours, 4 hours can be. It's unusual for a UK audience because we are used to soccer, English football, lasting 90 minutes and really not much longer. There's a bit of injury time and stuff, but that's pretty much it. You know exactly, pretty much roughly when it's going to start and finish. Whereas American football, you really don't. You really don't. There's 4 quarters, and they're only meant to be 15 minutes long. But because of the start nature of the timing of the game, with the down system, that 15 minutes could last an hour, which is crazy if you think about it. But yeah, if you can get through that and understand the basics of the rules, because I think that's what helped me out. Them basic rules I've just told you I didn't understand before, and I sat down one night, came in drunk, and turned the telly on, and I just Googled what the basic rules of American football were, and I was like, oh, is that it? Is that it? Is that all it is? When they're saying all these downs and 4th and 1 and 3 and 2, and that's all it is. And it became much more enjoyable, because obviously if you understand something, you can get into it, and you can enjoy it more. And I think for me, that was the entry into it, and Super Bowls became a thing after that. So I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I'm going to be egging on the Seattle Seahawks. My pal that's coming around tonight, or one of my pals coming around tonight, is a Seattle Seahawks fan. Recently, a new NFL supporter, chose the Seahawks, and good choice. They're in the Super Bowl already, so I think it must be a good luck charm to them. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. I'm rambling a little bit. I'm excited. My words aren't coming out right. Really appreciate you listening to this podcast. I hope it's cleared some stuff up for you. I hope it's kind of explained some stuff. I've called it the big game in the title because apparently the NFL don't like using the word Super Bowl for anything, so I didn't want to get this video taken down. So I've called it the big game. So if you're wondering why, I didn't just call it the Super Bowl episode. That's why. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, thank you for listening. I am going to get the episode 7 uploaded soon. I haven't had a chance to re-edit it and stuff and start again on it. So priority is the new episodes going up, making sure they're on. So I'll do that at some point. I will get around to it, so I promise. But thank you for listening to everything, and listen to me prattle on. If you can give me a like and a subscribe, that'd be ace. I've had my head in the way of this sign all the way through the video as well. So if you're watching the video, my sign has been playing Eagle stuff and NFL stuff all the way through, and it was for nothing because my big fat head was in the way. Oh, and Pepsi adverts. Not a sponsor. Not quite yet. One can hope. So thanks very much for listening. Even the ending was prattly. And, look after yourselves and just keep prattling.
Thanks for listening to Infinite Prattle with your host, Stephen. Follow me on social networks at Infinite Prattle, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks very much.